Let's get started. This question comes to us from X, and X writes this: if people have to go to school and be called to be an ordained pastor, does this also apply to Sunday school teachers as well? If not, then why? Does it have to do with the Lord's Supper and baptism, or is there something more to it? You know, X, this is a great question. What we have to first understand is this: Sunday school is a relatively modern invention. It dates back to the late 1700s, 1780, 1790 in that time. And what was going on in Britain in the late 1700s was something called the Industrial Revolution. And that really was a time where there's a real push for labor, getting children and youth and so forth into the workforce. In fact, many youth and children had to work 6 days a week, Monday through Friday plus Saturdays. And if you were constantly working, you did not have a time for an education. So as a result of that, some of the Christians came along in Britain in that time saying, you know what, we really need to educate our children, teach them how to read and to write, some of the basics of education that we sometimes take for granted. So Sunday school developed. They put them into Sunday school, and they used the Bible as a basis of the curriculum, and they taught them how to read and write, the basics of, like I said, our education. Now, this continued for quite some time. It was very, very popular. Even non-Christians who are not a part of the church, they would send their kids to Sunday school to get that education that they weren't able to get the other 6 days of the week because of work. But now this continued to the late 1800s, and what we see is that in the late 1800s, education became universal. It became public for everyone in Britain and the United States as well. So as a result, that component of reading and writing was then shifted from Sunday school to the public school system Monday through Friday, where they were taught how to read and write and so forth. So as a result of that, what happened with Sunday school? Well, many people saw such a value. It was established in the church for such a long time, 100-some years, that they actually kept Sunday school and kept the religious aspect, the religious component of Sunday school in the church to teach the basic biblical narrative and stories that we see in Sunday school even to this day and age. So, to your question then, do Sunday school teachers need to be ordained? Now, here's how I understand it. My understanding of the Sunday school teacher is that they are actually an extension of the pastoral office into the church. Now, what does that mean? It means that they are underneath the supervision and the guidance of the pastor, theologically speaking. And that is the reason why it is so important to have pastors being involved in the selection of the curriculum that is being used in the actual church. I was a part of a church, not to make a long story, but to take a long story and make it short. I was in a church where the curriculum that was being used was in actual contradiction to what was being preached on Sunday mornings. So as a pastor, I had to come in and gently adjust and help find curriculum that would actually be in unity with what was being taught from the pulpit. Otherwise, you're being taught two different things. So, long answer to boil it down to answer your question here. No, they do not have to be ordained. Now, with that said, they're not autonomous. Sunday school teachers work with the pastor and underneath the supervision and guidance of the pastor for the edification and teaching of the children of our Lutheran faith. This has been Lightning Cuts, and we'll catch you next time.